This is the true key to power. The true key to power over your life. The true key to you becoming the greatest version of yourself. Many Christians are going to say that this is in their Bible, and it is. You can find it in every religion, but it's completely overlooked and completely stolen from you every time you go to church, every time you listen to the pastors. They steal this from you every goddamn time. What is that power? That is the Hermetic power of cause and effect. As the Kabbalion says, once someone understands the power of cause and effect, the keys of power are now in their hands. It can be simply stated, for every cause there is an effect, for every effect there is a cause. There is no such thing as luck, chance, or miracles. There is simply cause and effect. What you call luck, chance, and miracles are causations that you are not able to identify. For instance, you lose your job, but you don't know why. You've been a great employee. You've done well. What you don't know is that there's a causation in the higher ranks that has decided that they want to cut middle management out because they want to save money and bring college graduates in to take those middle management jobs, but they can pay them, 40, 50% less than what they're paying you, therefore increasing their profit margin. You may not be privy to all the information. I saw this happen with a company when I was living in Tampa. And I saw the writing on the wall and was warning the people that I knew who was working there in that middle management, this is where they're moving. You better jump on it, because I noticed that they were hiring all these college kids to do the same managerial jobs that these people who have been doing it for 15, 20 years. But instead of paying them $120,000, $130,000, they only paid them like $50,000. So they were saving money. But the power of cause and effect. Let me tell you where you will find this in your Christian books. Your Christian book says that if one or two of you come together and pray, and you tell the mountain to move, and you have no doubt, then the mountain will move. You are the causation of moving something in your life, or moving something environmentally, or whatever it is. Your book also tells you that faith without works is dead. That means that if you do not do the work that is required of your faith, then your life will stay the same. It won't change. And according to your book, when you started believing in your Jesus character, you became a new creature with a renewed mind every day. But instead, most Christians take the scapegoat way out. They're waiting for manna to fall from heaven. They believe in praying and without ceasing, and if you pray, then it's going to come to you. You don't have to do anything to get it. They believe things like God will provide, instead of recognizing that it is their causation that provides, or the causation of someone else that provides. But they sit back and they would rather things be just given to them. The Paulinian style of Christianity is just for you to believe in Jesus and you're going to heaven. And then the church steals their hope constantly by telling them that the only thing they should worry about, the only thing they should be concerned about, is them getting to heaven. Don't worry about earthly things. Don't worry about storing your treasures up in heaven. Yet the Bible constantly tells people that wealth and righteousness go hand in hand. It tells them to be a good steward over their talents. The one who made the most in the story of the talents was then given what the one who did the least with his talents. And he basically said those who have will continue to get, and those who have not will continue to lose. You ignore those stories. But the truth is this: the more you begin to live the realities of your religion or your philosophy, the more you become a master of it, the more you realize how cause and effect is the power that moves everything in the universe. That without cause and effect, there is no increase in vibration. Without cause and effect, you don't know what pole you're dealing with. Without cause and effect, you cannot get your mental state to be in line with the polarity. Without cause and effect, you won't be able to recognize how much masculine energy and how much feminine energy that you need to invoke in and on the pole in order to increase the vibration so that your mental imagery can come about, can be created. You won't understand those things. You won't be able to do any of those things. You will literally swing from one end of the pole to the other end of the pole based on someone else's causalities. But if you look at your life right now, you'll see that 90% of the things, for some, for most people, it's about 50%. But 90% of the things in your life are there because you made a decision. You were the causality that created whatever you desired in your life. Let me give you some examples. You went up and down in relationships. You've had them, you lose them. You have them, you lose them. You have them, you lose them. Go back and look at the causation. Most of the time we want to blame the other person. We don't look at ourselves. But if the other person said that I need this much romance, I need this much sex, I need this type of sex, I need this type of financial living, I need, whatever they're telling you what their needs or desires are in order for them to be happy in a relationship, ask yourself, did you provide the things that are most important to that person? If you can say yes, then it might have been the other person. But if you look at it and see that you weren't providing what that person needed in order to be happy in this relationship, and therefore, since you weren't providing it, the person wasn't responding to you in the way that you desired, and then your resolve said, let's leave, let's break it up, let's end this thing. We're not working out. Well, you're not working out because either you or both of y'all or them were not being the causal factors to maintain that relationship. But you have to also understand how it flows, how energy flows. This is a deeper aspect of it. There's an old term in business that goes like this: money flows, where energy flows, money goes. Right? How you doing, man? Where money flows, energy goes. Where you put your energies, money will flow. But you have to understand how that flow of energy works. I was counseling I was doing business coaching some years back. A gentleman wanted to open up a Jamaican restaurant. He lived in Lithonia, Georgia. He figured that since there is a heavy concentration of people who eat Caribbean food in Lithonia, that would be a great place for him to open this business. I asked him, I said, why do you think there is a heavy concentration of people who eat Caribbean food in Lithonia? He had a very valid answer. When I look at Lithonia, in a 10-mile radius, there's about 20 different Caribbean-style restaurants. They've been there for a long period of time. Therefore, they must be receiving enough customer base in order for them to be open. This is true. I said, but if you look at each one of them, they're not thriving. They're getting by because they're competing for the same people. And so I showed him a Caribbean restaurant in Alpharetta. I said, now this Caribbean restaurant, and at that time frame was the only one in Alpharetta, it's thriving, has opened multiple restaurants. The reason why is because he's the only game in town. He's created a need where people didn't even realize they had a need for Caribbean food. He gave them something that they weren't able to get without having to drive too far. You have to understand the flow of energy and then place yourself within that flow in order for you to make it where you want to go. Most of the time, people want to cross the river, but they want to get directly to the opposite side of where they are instead of recognize, just get in the river and let the river take you, and you will still cross the river, but with less amount of energy that you have to involve in the flow, instead of fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting to get to the same spot across from where you launched yourself in. Get into the flow of energy, get into the flow of it, and then stake your causation, and you will then have the life that you desire. But you have to master it. You have to master it.